Encanto wins Oscar for Best Animated Feature. Encanto won Best Animated Feature Film at tonight's 94th Academy Awards. Nominations for the award were dominated by Disney, with nods to Walt Disney Animation Studios' Encanto and Raya and The Last Dragon and Pixar's Luca, which have unconventionally made streaming debuts on Disney Plus during the pandemic. Mike Rionda's The Mitchells vs. The Machines, a Netflix-exclusive sci-fi comedy feature from Sony Pictures Animation, was also nominated alongside Jonas Poul Rasmussen's Danish animated documentary about a gay Afghani refugee, Flea. Encanto and Flea were the standouts going into the night, with each receiving 3 total nominations. Encanto, directed by Jared Bush and Byron Howard, saw additional nominations for Best Original Score from composer Jermaine Franco and Best Original Song Dos Oruguitos by Lin-Manuel Miranda, performed right before the announcement of the Best Animated Feature Award. Flea received further recognition with nominations for Best Documentary Feature and Best International Feature. That said, The Mitchells vs. The Machines went into the night on the heels of a clean sweep of wins at the 49th Annie Awards earlier this month, including Best Animated Feature. Flea also came away from the earlier awards show with an award for Best Independent Animated Feature. Dune wins 4 Oscars before ceremony even starts. The Oscars broadcast has only just started, but before proceedings began, Dune had already bagged 4 pre-show awards. Many of the production-related nominations were handed out in the pre-show, where Dune cleaned up. The Denis Villeneuve epic took home Best Film Editing, Best Original Score, Best Production Design, and Best Sound. Dune's win for Best Original Score has also become the second ever win for legendary composer Hans Zimmer. Dune is the latest adaptation of Frank Herbert's novel, following on from the maligned David Lynch version in 1984, and Jodorowsky's Dune in 2013, which followed Alejandro Jodorowsky's attempt to adapt Herbert's universe. Villeneuve's version, which is best seen in IMAX, has been exceedingly well received by both fans and critics alike, with the movie boasting an 84% critic score and 90% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a financial success as well, pulling in almost $400 million globally on a production budget of $165 million. Even outside of the Oscars, the movie has been a dominant force at awards shows, taking home multiple BAFTA awards and Critics' Choice Awards earlier this year, alongside other wins. The early Oscars success could be followed by even more awards when the main event kicks off, as Dune scored 10 nominations. Among these is the big one, Best Picture, which would be a cherry on top of an already successful night at the show. If you're yet to check out the movie for yourself, Dune is available to purchase on your usual VOD services and stream on HBO Max. Oscar Isaac says Moon Knight ends with a healing experience. Even though Moon Knight hasn't even premiered yet, but there admittedly isn't long to go until the Marvel Cinematic Universe series lands this coming Wednesday. Oscar Isaac is already fielding questions about the ending on the promotional circuit. While that's par for the course when it comes to the latest project hailing from the biggest franchise on the planet, it's not as if Kevin Feige is going to give the okay for his cast and crew to suddenly head down the Morbius route and start throwing spoilers around with reckless abandon. However, the star of the 6-episode event has done his best to dance around the status of Mark Spector by the time the credits roll on the first of what could be many seasons during an interview with Total Film, where he once again harked back to the underlying theme and message of the entire show. I wouldn't want to spoil anything, but what I can say is that what we really tried to do is map out the journey of integration, and then how that is a step in healing from trauma, and that the real superpower that this character, or these characters, have is their experiences. And when those things can be integrated, as opposed to pushed away, that's where real strength comes from. That might be fairly vague for now. It'll make complete sense in a few weeks from now when Moon Knight reaches the end of the road, with many fans expecting the longtime cult favorite's long-awaited live-action debut to go down as one of the MCU's finest efforts yet. Halo show composer compares musical approach to the Mandalorian. The Halo television show is going strong on Paramount+. It retells the familiar story, taking place in a different continuity from the game series it is based on. Now, its composer is saying his music for the piece takes a lot of inspiration from the Mandalorian. I can't stress this enough. I have such respect for the music of the games. I view it as almost a sacred territory, and whenever I handle the theme in any way, I would consult Microsoft and say I'd like to use it here and there, and then the Halo had a certain kind of sound to it and so forth. Sometimes there was some very passionate debate. The idea was to have this be something that would certainly conjure the themes from the game, but you would also recognize this as its own lane, so to speak. Much like the Mandalorian is very different from Star Wars, but it's still in the Star Wars universe. Former 24 composer Sean Callery made the comments about his work on the video game adaptation to comic book in an article published yesterday. He discussed his work, hopes for the future, and revealed he was drawn to his current project out of a familiarity with its themes and how they resonated during COVID-19's heights. What I loved about the story, I read the script and then I saw the rough cut of the first episode, which was now being shut down because of COVID-19. What I really loved about it was this Master Chief character he discovers when you watch the show. It was sort of a discovery about him asking a question of himself, which is, who am I? What am I about? What am I doing? I just thought it was so interesting, and all of us being alone and working from home, we have all this stuff stripped away. I think, who among us in the last 2 years hasn't asked those kinds of questions? Who are we? What are we all about? Though the show has received mixed reviews so far, it will get the chance to do more in a second season. Okay, stay tuned to our channel. I'll be providing you with up-to-date reliable movie news. Enjoy!